Colour is truly a sensational part of our everyday lives. But how do we even begin to understand the concept of colour? What is it? Why is it even there? What causes it? If we take the colour red, we can say it's bright and warm and fiery. If we take the colour blue, we can say it's cool and calm like the ocean. But those definitions, they don't really explain anything. So to further our understanding, we must delve into the physics of colour. The first thing that we need to know is that colour originates in light. When light is given off by the sun, human beings perceive it to be colourless. What we don't actually see is the different colours or wavelengths of light. Red is the longest wavelength, followed by orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Human beings can see this when white light is passed through a prism and is dispersed into the 7 different colours of the spectrum. So now we know that there are different kinds of light and what they do when they pass through a translucent object like a prism. But what happens when light hits something opaque, something that doesn't let light pass through it? Well, depending on the properties of the object, some light will be absorbed and some light will be reflected. Take this apple for example. These different wavelengths will be absorbed, but the green wavelength will be reflected, which is why it looks green to us. Different colours are often caused by pigments such as chlorophyll, which makes plant leaves look green. So when light reflects off the certain object, it finds its way into a thin layer of cells in the back of our eye called our retina. And that brings us to the second part of this process. How does our brain interpret these different wavelengths so that we see colour? Well, let's take a closer look at our retina. In your retina, there are 2 types of light-sensitive cells, or photoreceptors. There are rods, which we have about 125 million of, that allow us to see in low light conditions. These rods aren't actually sensitive to colour at all. We also have 6 million cones, which are sensitive to colour. Human beings commonly have 3 different types of cones. Ones that are red sensitive, ones that are blue sensitive, and ones that are green sensitive. So whenever we see things that are red, blue, or green, the respective cones are activated and they send a signal through intermediate cells to our brain, which tells us what colour we're looking at. That's all well and good, but what happens when we see something purple or yellow? We have no yellow sensitive cones, but the yellow wavelength is kind of like the red wavelength and is close enough to the green wavelength. So some red sensitive cones and some green sensitive cones will be activated. There are also some other cells in our retina called retinal ganglion cells. These cells add or subtract the different signals, then send this final colour signal to our brain so that we know what colour we're looking at. There are some advantages to humans only having 3 different types of cones. For instance, you're probably watching this video right at this very moment on an electronic screen. Now, because human beings only have 3 different types of cones, screen manufacturers all over the world don't need to install them with millions of different colours, but only have to install them with 3. Red, blue, and green, the primary colours of light. Truthfully, we're very lucky to have our complicated, complex, intelligent eyes and brains, so that instead of only living seeing 3 colours, we can see thousands of different colours every single day.